We are recording, and this is Discussions with Deborah, a bi-coastal dialogue with myself, Malcolm Berman, and Deborah.
Hi, I'm Deborah Manning. I'm talking to you from Greenville, South Carolina. I'm a former native Californian who moved to Greenville. Now, my Lord, it's been 5.5 years. Time flies, I'll tell you. So it is Friday. This is February the 19th. Where has this year already gone? This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Do you think that it's gone quickly this year?
I think my life has gone quickly. I mean, I'm looking at the this is 2021.
Yes,
It seemed like yesterday we were just going into the new century.
I know. I know. It's just remarkable.
Now
It's
it's
absolutely remarkable.
2021, and I haven't gotten a day older. I've
No,
gotten,
you haven't, but much wiser.
I've gotten, yeah, that there's, I say I got 21 years older, but I don't think I've gotten that much wiser.
So what's been going on with you? We talked, let's see, the last time we talked was on Monday,
Monday.
was on Monday. And it seems as though we had just concluded the impeachment of former President Trump. And at this point right now, there's no Trump. It's been up, no Twitter, no Facebook, no Trump. This is great. The only thing is that we now have Mario Cuomo.
Well, nothing much has happened except we've landed on Mars.
Yes. Did you see that live?
I saw that live, and Texas is becoming the frozen state of Texas.
Yeah. It's very sad. We have my stepdaughter is there with her boyfriend, and fortunately they still have power, but they are saying it's quite astonishing what's going on, and they've invited friends to come over to their home and try and keep the pipes from bursting and all of that. I mean, just what a situation. So what do we do about situation with Texas?
Well, my
I
thought
mean,
is, I don't know what Abbott did when they were trying to pass the one of the COVID bills, and I know a few of the senators say no, we shouldn't pass the bill because we shouldn't give money to the states. I mean, the states, they put themselves in a hole and they don't deserve any money. And of course, all the states they were talking about were democratically controlled. So now that the shoe's on the other foot, that Texas needs a handout from the federal government. Should the Democrats say, no, we don't give it to Texas, they cause their own problems, we shouldn't bail
I
them out.
hope, I hope not. I hope not. I think the states that need to have federal help need federal help. I do have to have some questions though about, for example, our dear state of California, my former native state, where the misspending of money is unbelievable. And frankly, that's one of the reasons that my current husband, Mike Fish, his name is Fish, he's an artist, that we left 5.5 years ago. It just was becoming intolerable. The taxes, even on middle class folks, the taxes on middle class people, and the cost of living, the rents, the gasoline. We were starting at the time, we were starting above $4.50 up in Santa Barbara. That's where that's where I met my husband after my first husband passed away.
Now, are you
And
planning on getting another husband?
I beg your pardon?
Are you planning on getting another husband after Fish?
No, no, I want this.
Because
No.
when you said my current husband,
Yeah.
to say, well, for my next husband.
A misnomer. No, in fact, we're very protective of one another because we look at each other each morning and we thank heavens and thank the good Lord above that we're here in South Carolina where it is affordable and that we've bought a home and we have, I hate to tell you, we have six cats. Two of them are actually over here. I don't know whether you can see
Yeah, I
Ziggy
see
or
the
not.
one in the corner.
There's Ziggy.
Yeah, one in the corner and one. Readjust your
And then down
screen because your voice is going out.
Oh, okay. And right behind me, of course, is our other little Max.
Yeah.
Max is our littlest one, and he's a big troublemaker, which is fits right in with our entire group here. So at any rate, but yeah, Texas is a real issue. I know that when we came across the country, I was astounded at the number of windmills that you could see between Amarillo and I believe that we were into Memphis actually. Uh, just scores and scores and scores of these windmills, and they're frozen. They're
Yeah.
all frozen now.
But
So,
that's
so
only,
once again, you and I talk about climate change, and we agree that there is a situation with climate change, and I call it pollution, but it is climate change. And the worry that I have is that now if we become overly dependent on solar and we become overly dependent on wind, I mean, we need to ease into this. We need to keep natural gas. We need to keep oil. We need to do a transition over and make sure that we do it, but it needs to be on a gradual basis.
yes, we both agree on that. There has to be a gradual transition, but there has to
Mhm.
be movement.
Absolutely.
It's not which again. I saw this morning. Biden was talking to the heads of the various countries in Europe.
Mhm.
Uh, if I don't know about you, but it felt good. It felt good that he wasn't chastising the other countries for being poor players, and saying that we're all going to be as a team, that it's a world thing. I really
Well, the problem with that is the fact that you can certainly be a team, and I'm glad to hear that we are going to be quote unquote a team. However, as a team, you do need to participate. So Germany needed to kick in its money for NATO, as did France, and all these other countries needed to kick in their money. So I think that's all the point that President Trump was making was, you need to go ahead and fess up. It's not like you're going to be doing this for free, or actually, we've been doing this for free for quite a number of decades. So it's time. And I don't have a problem with what President Biden has to say about that. I do want to make sure, though, that he is firm and that we're not the only player in this by providing the funds and the manpower, the person power, the military power to keep NATO going. I just think we just need to be fair. That's all, fair.
I agree, but we weren't the only power. We were never the only power that did it. They do have troops. England and France did chip in with us, both for what happened in Europe, which happened in Iraq, and which happened well, not in Iran, but what happened in Vietnam. They did fight with us. In
Mhm.
Canada, it's not that we were ever alone. And they said, "Okay, bye bye, baby, it's your fight." We did they were our allies, and they did contribute it. As far as money, I am not sure, but I don't think I forget what it was. It was 2% of your gross national product or something. But
Yeah, and
they
they,
did
they they did
contribute
far
money.
less.
They did contribute money, but they didn't contribute as much, and we didn't make up the difference. It's not like
Well, NATO did, the chief of NATO did thank President Trump for having the other countries, shaming the other countries into paying their bills. Pay your bills for heaven's sake. You're a country, for crying out loud. So that's what I'd like to see. That's really what I would like
yeah.
to see.
But and we also did the Paris Accord. We went back in, which I agree with. Again,
Mhm.
everybody has to chip in. And that's what he said. He said we can't do it unilaterally.
That's
Everybody.
fine. So long as China and India don't cry for me and say no, we can't possibly meet any of the environmental limitations because we're a brand new country. Baloney. China, come on, give them 10 years, right? Give them 10 years.
Well,
Heck, they've already announced the fact that they want to dominate the world.
yeah,
So no,
but we want
you need to have the same rules for everybody.
well, we wanted to dominate the world for the last 30 years. I
Well,
don't.
there's nothing wrong with good democracy, Malcolm. There's nothing wrong with that.
But the question is, if China and India do not participate, the world is going to be destroyed for them also. It's not they're only going to, only the United States is going to suffer. All over the world, there are weird things happening with the climate. It's not
Mhm.
it's not the only bad things are happening in the U.S. They're having
Mhm.
floods. They're having bad winters. I think it's Venice where the streets are disappearing. because of the icebergs are melting,
Yep.
and the poor polar bears have no place to go. And they
And we have a serious situation, but I do also realize that I hope we don't get rid of all the CO2 because trees and plants need CO2
all right.
because they're the ones that use that and then give us the oxygen. So like I say, you know, there's a yin and a yang, for heaven's sakes. That's what it's all about.
Well, the CO2 that we give out is breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Which that if you notice, when you go into a forest, all of a sudden you feel lighter. You feel that you're breathing. You're opening up because the trees are giving oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
and they're taking.
That's why here in South Carolina, it's so different than Southern California. Like I said, I was there for 63 years in Southern California. And moving here back to the East Coast, my parents were originally from the East Coast, up in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts. And then moving here to the South, it's very interesting because we're only 3 miles from downtown, Greenville, but we're surrounded by 100-foot oaks, and you can be in the middle of a state park, which is called Paris Mountain State Park. And once again, you're breathing air. And the water here, you can actually drink the water from the faucet. It's kind of the basic things. So when we talk about the New South is you can actually breathe the air and you can drink the water. What a concept.
Well, one of the things I loved before, I keep on mentioning it, before moving to California, I lived in Manhattan, and I lived on Central Park West, right by Central Park. And
love it.
In the midst of this big city with concrete all over, and you look up to tall buildings, I just had to walk half a block over. I was in the park. I was right by the Central Park Reservoir where I did my running.
Oh,
and I could walk around there where the boathouse is, and there were tennis courts, and I could walk in there, and I couldn't see any of the big buildings.
Oh my.
It was like I was in a forest.
My.
And then I also was a few blocks away from Riverside Park. Riverside.
Oh, is that right?
Right along the Hudson River.
Oh my goodness.
And I could run along there and see the boats coming in. And that was well, I lived in Coney Island, was the entrance to the New York Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up hearing boats go doot, doot, and especially on foggy days.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the buoys that were the channel markers. And when the tide got windy, the waves would hit the bells. Ding, ding.
Oh my. So do you think New York is going to survive de Blasio and Mr. Cuomo?
I think New York will survive. There are too many good things, especially when they start getting, when the pandemic is over and people could start going out, and you go to museums, and you go to art galleries, and you go to fine restaurants. You have to have money. I mean, that's a problem. Dog on it. But if you have the money, and a lot of people do,
yeah,
and New York is a place to be.
Yeah.
And
well, what do you think about the situation with Governor Cuomo and the situation where there was underreporting of nursing home deaths because of his mandate back in March of 2020 to put COVID infected seniors back into nursing homes?
I don't.
Apparently, there was a huge cover up, and he, of course, was touting his book, and he was criticizing Trump for not handling the pandemic correctly, and yet, as I recall, the Javits Center went empty, and I recall there was the ship, I think it was called the Hope or something, that went empty, and then Samaritan's Purse also put together a hospital area that also went empty. So you kind of scratch your head after he's written a book saying that he did a great job, and now we're finding out that there were probably 19 or 20,000 more deaths in nursing homes.
Right. Well,
what could possess an individual to put a death contract on the most susceptible to COVID? I don't understand his thinking.
Well, number one, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it. I've heard it. I don't know under what advice he did this, whether the doctors were telling him or who is telling him that the COVID patients should be out of the hospital and into the nursing home. Now, number two, I don't know how old those people were. So I don't know whether they had different conditions that made them susceptible or they were going to die anyway soon, whether.
Yeah, but the problem is, that they were in a nursing home, number one, and then number two, they got COVID. And number three, they were forced out of the hospital to go back to the nursing home where they then subsequently infected very well people that were in the nursing homes. And yet I don't understand. Cuomo had the hospital beds available at the Javits Center, the Samaritan's Purse, and on the Coast Guard cutter. He had open beds available. Why would he force these folks back into the nursing homes and then cover it up?
Well, number one, well, I happen to like Cuomo, so I'm not sure. I'm trying to explain it, but I'm not sure.
Sure.
But the question that I have also, since I don't have the timetable, I know the hospital space and the Javits Center and the ship were not there at the beginning. That this was when it became pandemic and the hospitals were being inundated. That's when they came in. So I'm not sure when that was last year, and I'm not sure.
They came in March. They came in March, just about the time that the order went through.
Which one? That they.
So his order came through on March the 23rd, and I do believe that the Javits Center, what have you, came together just a couple of days before that. Yeah. That's why everybody was kind of scratching their heads, going, "Why are you not moving patients into the Javits Center or the Samaritan's Purse or onto the ship?" We couldn't understand why.
Well, the question is, why? Did he have?
I don't know. I don't know. He keeps blaming everybody else. That's our problem. And I just, this whole thing, I mean, we need politicians who represent us to think in our best interests. I mean, can you imagine having relatives that were forced back into a COVID-laced nursing home? I mean, a nursing home that you consider to be safe?
It sounds horrendous, but again, until I find the facts or read it, then I can make my opinion. Because even the most well-intended people sometimes do the wrong things. No one, no one is perfect. But
no, of course not.
As a general rule, I like Cuomo. Whether I agree with what he did, right now it'd be no, and I don't know why he did it, and I haven't heard any explanations from him. And until then, I sort of I reserve opinion. I'm not I'm not for or against what he did. I don't know. I'm against what he did, but I don't know why he did it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so we're about ready to get our second shot. My husband Fish is due in for his second shot Thursday. And interestingly enough, they're saying now that we could be at herd immunity, that wonderful term that Dr. Fauci uses, herd immunity, by, of all times, April. That's astonishing. In fact, I was listening to the news today, and they were saying that at this point right now, that the hospitalizations are down 25% approximately.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going way down. It looks like we may have a handle, thank heavens, on this COVID situation. So when you get your second vaccine, when you get yours?
On my birthday, March 8th.
That's right. That's right. Now, are you going to continue to wear a mask?
Yes. I'm still, because until they say, okay, this is 100% sure, you can't catch anything, or you can't catch any of the variants. That's what I worry about also, the variants.
Yep. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. Oh, which reminds me, I got an interesting telephone call. We just refinanced the house, thank heavens. Unbelievable interest rates these days. So if you haven't refinanced yet, folks, there's still time to do it. I could not believe how low the interest rate was. Of course, our house was only $99,000, so it's not that big of a house. But
$99,000 where I live, you can get an outhouse.
I know, and we have a 1948 bungalow. It's absolutely adorable here. But at any rate, we got our refinance taken care of. Didn't take any cash out. I just wanted to reduce the interest rate, which was nice. Got a 2.625% interest rate. I could not believe it. I've been in the loan business now for about 25 years, in addition to doing news reporting after I did my reporting career. I remember 18% interest rates,
I think
and
when,
everybody was grateful for that.
I think when I
But
bought my house, I think it was like 14% interest rate.
yep. But I have a big shout out to the individual that called me last night to announce that the loan had funded, Carrie. And Carrie and I had a fascinating conversation. It's so interesting listening to folks now who have been forced to work from home. And she has a cerebral palsy child, and so was grateful to be able to find a job that would allow her to work from home along, with her husband and what have you. But she's in Arizona, and she was also saying that the weather there was also abysmal, just terrible situations with the cold and what have you. But I want to give a shout out to Carrie. I told her that she needed to go to malcolmpresents.com. That's the correct website, is it not?
Right.
Yeah. And that she needs to listen to the two of us kind of banter back and forth. And I said, now, would you be interested in political discussions or not? She says, of course I would be. Absolutely. I want to talk about politics because politics is what it's all about. And I went, okay, that sounds fine.
Anytime you can invite her to join us for a discussion, and we could do a three-wayer. Ooh,
Oh, that sounds a little bit scary.
but I'm from the old school.
Uh-huh.
We're a three-way, yeah, a menage a trois.
I know. But you know what? The Zoom technology is amazing. I just took an online class, Zoom class from Milk Street. Now, Milk Street was a spinoff from America's Test Kitchen. And if you've not tried America's Test Kitchen, you must. You must. Now, I was a good cook thanks to my mom, but I'm a great cook now because of America's Test Kitchen. And one of the spinoffs from one of the creators is a group called Milk Street, 177 Milk Street out of Boston. So we got a chance to, thanks to Zoom, actually cook different types of steaks and all kinds of flank steaks and all kinds of different inexpensive steaks, which was very interesting to me. But I found it fascinating. We had people from Arizona, from California, from New York. Everybody was up on top of the screen, as I am on this screen right here. And we were all cooking steaks and doing Vietnamese garlic and curry sauce and what have you. And it's just a remarkable way to be able to teach people and to bring folks together. And really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Oh, and who was in the back there? That's Gracie. That was Gracie. Who was just decided she's on her way for kibble. Yeah,
she's a scene stealer.
Yes, she is.
I'm
absolutely is. And here, Max is still asleep. So yeah, he's actually Gracie does inspection. She is the one who runs the house here, so she does inspection on all the cats to make sure that there are no little imperfections in their fur whatsoever. So I'm sorry, I'm sounding like a crazy cat woman. So at any rate,
do you ever look at do you ever look at let the chickens in the house?
No, but you know what I do with the chickens, and it's been lots of fun. They're giving us a dozen eggs a day, which is unbelievable. And the only reason that we're able to get that kind of production is because they're extremely happy. They get vegetables in the afternoon and they get fruit in the morning, along with their regular feed. And I will take the chickens out once it starts getting a little bit warmer, out into the front yard where I can do my weeding. And it's very interesting. People might think that chickens are stupid. Chickens are not stupid. They are very smart, and they stay right with you, right with you. So as I'm picking up weeds, and I'm setting them down for my chickens. Penelope generally is my head chicken now. And she'll go ahead and consume the weeds as I'm picking up the weeds, and she's following right behind me. And some people said, well, they're going to run out into the street. No, they're not. They just stay right there. They know how they're going to get fed, and they know what's safe. And it's been really wonderful raising chickens. I've never had chickens before. Fish, Fish had lots, he had lots of chickens because he was in Santa Barbara and Santa Cruz and places like that. But not me. I'm always in the city.
I have a question.
What's that?
Is there a difference between chickens that lay eggs or chickens that you raise because for their meat for chickens?
Actually, you can do both, but I can't do both. I can only raise chickens for eggs. And we let them die a natural death. And I just, yeah, I can't do the situation with eating them for meat. It's too much.
Well, I don't know if I told you this story, but
you did, and it would just hit me the exact same way.
yeah.
And it's funny because the place that we get our feed from said, well, when the chickens decide not to lay any more eggs, you can bring them here and we'll recycle them. And I know what that means. And that's not to take them and eat them, it's to take them to the zoo and allow the animals to eat them. And I just can't quite do that. But on a happy note, the chickens are doing beautifully. We keep them warm because it's gotten very cold here, very, very cold. The Texas weather that hit the Midwest started on its way. In fact, yesterday we had all day rain. Fortunately, we did not get the ice storm we were anticipating, but the temperatures were staying 34, 33 approximately. And we allowed the chickens to go out, but we do keep a heater in the hen house, a ceramic heater, nothing with flames, obviously, because I don't need roast chickens. But we do that, and then we also have a fan in the summer because it does get warm here, especially with the humidity. But our big problem now is we have mice because there's been a lot of construction going on here. So the mice have now discovered, hey, a hen house. So we put the hens into the hen house in the evening. We have a free-for-all of mice that go in for the grain that is left over in the run. So we're now leaving the door open, and all of the stray cats are going in and taking care of the mice. It's quite a party all night long, I'll tell you. And I have cameras out there watching this whole evolutionary situation going on.
You have a new late show that you can.
I do have a new late show.
I think I told you my cat, the last one passed away.
I'm so sorry. Tigre.
Yeah, Tigre.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Tiger, but since my wife is Latina, so it's Tigre. Tigre Woods. We rescued two brothers.
Oh.
But Tigre would sit on the couch in the outside.
Yeah.
And watch. If mice would come, he'd watch them.
Yeah.
There was no possum.
Yeah.
That came and would eat his food. And he would stay there, just watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that he should attack an opossum, because I hear they could be lethal.
They get a little angry. Yes.
And
a little angry.
And raccoons supposedly are very fearsome.
Oh my Lord! I tell you, the raccoons are something.
But Tigre would just sit back, look. He would say, "Hey, it's my house, but you're welcome to it."
There you go.
You're not threatening me.
Well, next week we're getting ready for fish footage. That is my husband's art. We've been asked to go to Haywood Mall, and we're going to be doing a presentation there. We'll be doing a hang there. We'll be putting it in on Thursday. So I'll take some pictures for you, and maybe I can see if I can convince our mall advertising person that we might be able to do something live from there.
That's what I want to do. All you have to do is take your new computer there, and it is so simple nowadays. And if you get your light, the you're talking about, and we take it there and we do it live.
That's where we're going, because it would be very interesting to talk to folks from South Carolina about some of their thoughts on things, because they have a very different approach here, a very, very different approach. I hate to say it's more family oriented, but I think that it probably is. It's a slower way of life here. There's not so much the trying to impress everybody. Everybody pretty much around here has old cars. old houses. And yet, for example, I'm making my own bread, my own mayonnaise. Uh, I'm making my own butter now. It's one of those natural kinds of things where with the eggs, it just seemed like, why not? Go ahead and do it. And don't accuse me of being farmer,
No, I'm
okay?
not, but do you mind if I change the name to discussion?
Ah,
Not that.
but it's fun. It's a lot slower here, and you have time to be able to enjoy life, and it's perfect
Well,
for me. I feel like I'm 5 years old again now, and that I don't have these deadlines. Although I enjoy the deadlines because we had to put together a major grant request from the Metropolitan Art Council, because in addition to being asked to show at Haywood Mall, we're going to do, of all things, we're going to go on digital billboards. We're going to take his art and put them on digital billboards. And it's going to be an interesting way of doing it, because once again, art galleries here, and I think all over because of COVID, people can't go into them for fear of catching the virus. So what we've decided to do is we're going to be going to the people with these advertising billboards, and the campaign is called Beautify Greenville. And we will put full-size, 25 feet tall and 40 feet long of fish footage, which is urban abstract art. And they're intrigued by it. So we'll see if they actually decide to want to do it. But we'll see what happens. Who knows?
I'm wondering if we could put, conversations with Deborah on there.
That would be fun, wouldn't it? Except the only thing, and you know what's so interesting about these billboards, Malcolm, they actually are able to, they call them impressions, but they put cameras, and when someone's face, either a passenger or a driver, they turn to look at the billboard. They can tell whether or not you're actually looking at it, how long you're looking at the billboard, and when you turn away. So they have a series of 8 ads that go on there. They're there for 10 seconds apiece. They're generally there while you're waiting for the stoplight. And they're certainly a lot more interesting than the normal billboards. And it's fascinating, although I guess maybe creepy, people would say, because there's no privacy, but they can actually tell the number of impressions or the number of eyeballs that actually are looking at a billboard.
But what I just thought about it, we do have something called facial recognition.
Yep.
And if you're passing by the billboard and you take a look at it, and they probably can tell from the expression in your face, psychologists, whether you're in favor of it or not, they get your information. And the next thing you know is on your cell phone or in your mail, you're getting advertising from those people. And I mean, they do.
Would you be opposed to that, or would you not be opposed to that?
I don't know. It depends. No, just for the advertising, no. But there are different ways that I'd be opposed to it, because they were. I don't know if we talked about it on that 60 Minutes about the Chinese company getting the DNA. They were talking about. I forget what it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were offering these kits for free to hospitals for the testing for COVID. But what they did is, and then they kept the DNA information about the person, and when they having that, they could tell if a person is, going to be sick, what they're prone to. They all sorts of information they could find out, which then they use in advertising or other insidious things, or insidious things. And it's like where there's no privacy anymore. The same way.
Well, I mean,
they're now with credit cards, and they know what you're buying, and in certain instances, you walk into a supermarket, and on your cell phone they say, hello, Deborah, welcome to, Vaughn's. We have a sale on, because they're advertising directly to you because you're coming in. Anyway, my dear, time is up.
Well, I like the word sale, though. I do like that. Oh, our time is up. No.
Did you imagine We're talking about 35 minutes already, and probably we didn't cover anything of importance, except life.
Oh, yes, we did.
You know, what-
Yes, we did. And
what I
that's the
love-
most important thing is life.
Yeah, I think it's the Beatles. I'm not sure, or John Lennon, who said, you know, life happens when you're making plans. And you plan to do something, you know, oh yeah, well, I'll get to it.
Yep.
But all of a sudden you planned it when you were 20 and now you're 35 and you still haven't done it. Because you have to live, so to
But you
speak.
know what? Even at our age, my dear, at our age, my dear, we have plenty of life left.
Speak
We
for
really do.
yourself. I do, I
We
know.
really have plenty of life left.
Well, my favorite question now when I speak
I know you do, and I know I do.
when I speak to people, no matter what age is, I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because for some reason, I don't consider myself, you know, grown up yet.
Mhm.
Because I keep on changing. You know, like
Yeah.
every 4 or 5 years, you know, there's another facet of me that I'm working, which I enjoy. But anyway, under that note, we will meet again
Yeah.
Friday, next Friday, and we'll see if the world is still here, if Texas hasn't frozen,
That sounds wonderful.
and if now we can land a man
It
on.
will be.
Okay, send my love to Fish. Find out more about the Fish Gallery and how we can.
And the world would be a better place, my dear.
Okay, bye.
Will do. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.